my dear students. So today I am going to discuss about the remaining portions from the lesson, the path of heat flow. So children, in last class we were discussing about the three modes of heat transmission. So can you see children, what are the three modes of heat transmission? Exactly, it's the conduction, conversion and radiation. Now today I am going to discuss with you all about the topic of how the heat loss is controlled in a thermoflask. By this three mode of heat transmission, how it is controlled. So in a thermoflask, there are certain parts. First one is a glass vessel and lid. You know, the lid of the thermoflask is a poor conductor of heat. So it doesn't allow to conduct heat. Thus the heat loss can be controlled by conduction. Next, there is a vacuum lies between this membrane of the thermoflask. So since there is no air, the heat loss is controlled by conversion. And if you go to the inner surface of the thermoflask, it is of smooth surface and it is made up of silver plates. You know what is the advantage of the silver plates? It will reflect the heat. Okay, so there is no heat loss. So it will reflect the heat and the heat loss can be controlled by radiation. So this is about how if you put any hot tea or hot water inside a thermoflask, the heat is not lost. It is controlled by this three mode of heat transmission, conduction, conversion and radiation. So hope this is clear. Next we will move on to the topic thermal expansion in solids. Thermal means temperature. What happens when a solid gets heated? So let's look. Yes. For that there is an experiment in your textbook. The experiment is as follows. You have to take a cardboard sheet and cut off the middle portion of the cardboard sheet. Then you have to fix aluminium plates using screw, cycle screw. You have to fix the two aluminium plates using cycle screw, as you can see from the picture, children. Then you can connect these plates to a battery and a bulb. So there is some gap between the plates. Now what you have to do means you have to light a flame under this aluminium plates. When you lighted the flame, the heat is absorbed. That heat is absorbed by the aluminium plates. And what happens? It gets heated. And as a result, on heating, the aluminium plates gets expanded. So when it gets expanded, the two aluminium plates will come contact with each other. I told you there is a little gap between the aluminium plates. So when you heat it, it will come together. So thus it will act as a closed circuit and the bulb glows. You might be remembering about the circuits we learned in the previous lessons, right? Yes. So it behaves as a closed circuit. So as a result, the bulb glows. And you have to connect this battery and the bulb using conducting wires like copper. Okay, children? Then only there will be a closed circuit. So the electricity, the electric current can flow through the conducting wires and thus it helps to glow the bulb. But stop, after some times you stop the flame. You allow it to cool. Allow the aluminium plates to cool. What happens, children, when it cools? it will contract. That is, there will be they will not get contacted with each other. There will be a gap between the aluminium plates. So as a result, it becomes an open circuit, and so what happens, children? The bulb doesn't close. So from this we can understand that the solids expand on heating and contract on cooling. So this is what happens when the solids get heated. It expands on heating and contracts on cooling. Next one is the thermal expansion, which takes place in liquids. For this also there is an experiment. You have to take a injection bottle. You know that the lid of the injection bottle is made up of rubber. Yes? Yes. So you have to insert a hole in the rubber. Then you have to take a refill of a pen. Okay? Refill of a pen, and you remove the metallic part of that refill. And inside this injection bottle, you pour some colored water and put the this lid, which is having a hole, and fix this refill into the rubber lid. Now put this injection bottle into a vessel containing hot water. Partially immerse it, not fully, partially immerse it, as you can see from the picture. When the colored water absorbs the heat, it gets expanded. So as it gets expanded, the water comes out and goes through the refill. Now you take the injection bottle out of this hot water. You can see that the water level in the refill comes down. There will be no water level in the refill. When it was in the hot water, the colored water expands and it moves upwards through the refill. But when we took it from the hot water, it became cooled. So the water level contracts. That is, the colored water gets contracted. So the water level comes down, and as a result, there will be no water in the refill. So from this, we can understand that liquids on heating expand and on cooling contract. Similarly, thermometers. There are two types of thermometers you have to study in this lesson. Clinical thermometer and laboratory thermometer. See, here is the picture, children, of clinical and laboratory thermometer. You can see that the clinical thermometer is smaller than the laboratory thermometer. Yes? So what is the use of this clinical thermometer? For what purpose we use this, children? Exactly. It is used to measure the body temperature. You might have seen when you get fever, your mother is coming with a thermometer, right? It is clinical thermometer, children. It is used to measure the body temperature. It will be very small. You have seen in hospitals, the doctors are measuring your temperature and all. So, the liquid which is present in the thermometer is the mercury. So when you get fever, what happened? Our temperature rises, right, children? So when the temperature rises, the mercury in the bulb, there is a mercury bulb over there in the clinical thermometer. The mercury in that bulb will expand and it will flow through the vacuum tube. And the mark against the mercury level will give the body temperature. Where there is a mark against the mercury level, it will give the body temperature. So this is how you have to read. That is, the mercury will expand when it gets heated. Okay, children. Similarly, clinical thermometer, it's narrow. There is a narrow portion above the mercury level. There's a narrow portion is there above the mercury level, and what happens when the mercury gets heated, it expands in the bulb, and as a result, what happens? It will flow through the vacuum tube, and the mark against the mercury level will give you the body temperature. Similarly, laboratory thermometers. Laboratory thermometers are used to measure the temperature which is below 200 degrees Celsius. It is used to measure the objects, temperature of the objects which are using in laboratory. Okay children, that is the temperature must be below 200 degrees Celsius. So this is the difference between the clinical thermometer and the laboratory thermometer. Laboratory thermometer is used to measure the temperature below 200 degrees Celsius, and clinical thermometer is used to measure our body temperature. Now we can go on to the thermal expansion in gas. For that there is an experiment. As you can see from the picture children, you have to take an injection bottle. Okay, injection bottle. And what you have to do means, you have to fill water in it, and you have to put a hole, and inside the rubber, in the rubber lid you put a hole, and fix the tube, plastic tube into the hole, and the other side you leave it as free, and it should be in a container which contains water. You can see from the picture children. So the one end of the plastic tube is inside a vessel which contains water, and the injection tube contains, inside the injection tube there is water, and you just partially immerse it into a vessel containing hot water, as we did in the thermal expansion of liquids. So what happened children, when the water inside the injection bottle absorbs heat, it expands, and so the air inside it will move upwards and will escape through the other end of the tube. As you can see, some bubbles coming out of that tube. It is the escape of the air. The air inside the injection tube, it will get expanded and it moves upwards and it escapes through the other end of the tube. So this is what happens in solids, liquids and gases. In solids, liquids and gases, on heating it expands and on cooling it contracts. So thermal expansion, we use it in our daily lives. There are many cases which we use in our daily life children. For example, the air holes. You can see some air holes in the ceilings of your rooms. Have you noticed that children? In every ceilings you can see some air holes. Why it is done so? See, during the hot season and all, the air inside the room gets heated. So as a result, the air expands and moves upwards, and it will go throughout this air holes, and the cool air from outside will enter into the room, and this reduces the heat. Not only during the summer season, whenever we feel hot, when the room is hot, the air expands and it moves out through this hole, and the cool air comes inside and reduces the heat of the room. So this is why we are putting the air holes. Similarly, you can see that the bridges are constructed at different span, one after the another. In different spans it is constructed. There will be a gap. Why it is so? Because if we construct in one span, due to the heat, the bridge will expand and bend. So to stop that, if you are constructing it at different span, it will not bend. Due to the expansion of heat, it will not bend. So that is why bridges are considered at different spans. Next one, if some glass, two glass plates, if it is stuck together, how can you separate it? You just have to pour hot water so that the outer glass will absorb the heat and it expands, so that this glass can be separated out easily by pouring the hot water. So these are the thermal applications which we are using in our daily life. So this is about today's topic, children. So today we have discussed about how the heat loss is controlled by conduction, conversion and radiation in a thermoflask, and how the thermal expansion takes place in solids, liquids and gases and in our daily life. So hope you have understood this topic. Bye children.